Hi, I'm Torte de Lini. One of the most common areas people are confused and unsure about in Deadlock is how to play the laning stage. I think as a whole, the laning stage is more simple than people realize. But recently, some high-level friends like Yams and Crayon have been showing me this rather ingenious approach to the lane and how it relies on 3 items you typically think would only be appropriate on certain heroes. Items like Monster Rounds, Melee Lifesteal, and Spirit Strike. When you see these items, I'm sure one of the first heroes you're thinking of is Abrams, and that's totally normal. The hero is typically tanky thanks to Infernal Resilience and plays pretty close to the Trooper wave since he usually secures souls with melee and relies on his short-range weapon to harass enemies. But in reality, these items can actually be really good for a wide variety of heroes like Infinite, Wraith, Yamato, and Seven. Heroes that typically have weak laning capabilities and a slow ramp up to farm the neutrals. So let's explore what makes these items great independently but strategically strong in combination. By the way, if you like my Deadlock videos or know me from Dota 2, please trick the algorithm by telling me your favorite Deadlock item is Alchemical Burger in the comment section, as well as liking and subscribing. The only way to beat the YouTube algorithm is to consistently lie to its stupid face. Also, why did you guys tell me your favorite hero is Slork in my last video? Who the hell is Slork? Is that like from Dota 2? Are you guys talking about Slark or what is that? Okay, so right off the bat, let's examine what these items bring to the table for 1500 combined soul. Monster Rounds gives 35% weapon damage versus NPCs, 30% bullet resist versus NPCs, 50 bonus health, and 1 health regen. Melee Lifesteal gives 12% melee damage, 75 bonus health, heal for 30% of your melee damage with a base of 90 per hit, less when hitting non-heroes like troopers or neutral camps. And lastly, Spirit Strike gives you 12% more melee damage, 80 spirit shield health, and when you melee an enemy hero, you deal extra spirit damage and you reduce the target's spirit resist. So already you should be seeing a synergy between all 3. Combined, these items give you 125 extra health, and that's more than any other 1250 vitality item except for Return Fire. 2, you get plus 80 spirit shield health, which is only beaten by Hollow Point Ward at 95 spirit shield and Enchanter's Barrier's 300 spirit health. 3, 24% combined melee damage on top of an additional 50 spirit damage when you melee. And 4, finally, 1 health regen and resistance against NPC damage. So just by pure raw stats, this 1500 souls combo of items provides significantly more ineffective health points than any other 1250 item, as well as any 3 combination of 3 500 soul cost items. And this matters a lot because saving for a grand total of 12 souls during the laning stage is much harder than the buildup of 3 times 500 priced items, which you can achieve in 5 minutes or less depending on how you lane. More importantly though, the 500 cost items can be purchased in any order pending what you need more of. However, what really makes these items shine is how they are used, or rather what playstyle they allude to. Typically in Deadlock, you have items whose goals are to either give you more damage and harassment, like Ammo Scavenger, Headshot Booster, and Basic Magazine, or mitigate the kill threat potential from enemies by reducing or outliving the damage you take, such as items like Restorative Shot, Healing Right, and Enduring Spirit. These 3 items actually achieve both sides of the laning item meta choice, and that is key to how you're going to play the lane. So your early skirmishes are important, and like in Dota, the laning stage matters a lot, but unlike in Dota, playing forward beats out conservative playstyles. So with these items, you are achieving 3 goals in the lane. By playing very forward, you are 1, securing souls with your increased melee damage, and thus the lane gets pushed forward while giving the enemy no chance to deny your souls. All the while, since you're near the creep wave, you can deny theirs more regularly. Because you rely on melee to guarantee last hits on troopers, you free up ammo to harass enemies with. With the lane being pushed up, you can spend more time at their tower, denying their souls and harassing them while they play on the back foot. 3, with Spirit Strike and Monster Rounds, you mitigate harassment from spirit damage sources of the enemy heroes, as well as damage from enemy troopers who may be shooting at you when you skirmish with the enemy. Not to mention that melee lifesteal is regularly giving you life back with each melee attack whenever it's off cooldown. And 4, finally, what's more is that your melee attacks deal both weapon and spirit damage, all the while reducing the enemy's spirit resist. Thus, you can deal more damage with your abilities. Plus, your melee lifesteal builds off of that for even more life back to you. Since most of your damage typically comes from your spirit damage early to mid game, Spirit Strike as a setup for you to then finish enemies off with abilities is a nice touch. In short, your lane management is insane, while playing much more forward than usual, all the while mitigating damage, regenerating health, and dishing damage back even harder. Just the fact that you can trade with enemies while reducing trooper damage when enemy laners cannot heavily shifts early fight in your favor. The melee lifesteal giving you use somewhat between 30 or more in combination with Spirit Strike really highlights the sustain of this build. Don't forget that Monster Rounds also works on towers, so you will literally start taking those Guardians down much more quickly, shortening your laning stage and establishing your lead. With the change to flex slots unlocking after all Guardians have fallen, the necessity to take Guardians quickly before you get inventory block is imperative. Cool, okay, let's talk about a replay showcasing kind of what I've been talking about for the past, I don't know, 7 minutes. We're looking at a Yams replay where he's playing Infinite. This is a pretty standard way that he plays. He plays really forward, not to be confused with aggressive. When you look at Infinite, you're looking at someone that can actually deal a lot of periodic damage over time in his lane. However, he is still, you know, justifiably squishy hero. And so already right off the bat, we can see he picks up the first item, which is Spirit Strike, and then the second one is Ammo Scavenger. Now, the appeal for Spirit Strike is not just the fact that you do additional damage with your punch, but also the fact that it gives you additional effective HP through the regenerative Spirit Shield. Now, since you're playing against someone, let's say Pocket and Wraith, which is exactly who we're seeing in the lane here, it's pretty normal that maybe Spirit Strike might be your first item, just on the idea that you want to reduce that kind of all-in nuke damage that Pocket and Wraith tend to deal in their lanes. And you can see here already with the comfort of having, let's say, melee lifesteal, as well as the Spirit Strike and then Ammo Scavenger, which has been buffed in the recent patch. We see, you know, someone that we would consider squishy and someone that we consider playing farm back and play kind of for the longevity of his overall damage across the lane, across the time that he's laning. Just someone who just plays much more forward, right? He's really at the trooper line. He's securing troopers with melee when he needs to or when he can. And then more importantly, we see just by securing a quick kill that he can then play pretty comfortable on that basis of the hero. You can see Wraith can't really do much now that he lost his partner Pocket. And we're going to see now the Infernus kind of use that opportunity to farm up much more quickly. And you can do that by picking up Monster Rounds, which we just saw. He picks up Monster Rounds for the 1 extra health HP, extra health, as well as the 50 health that he picks up from Monster Rounds. So he does get the kill. He's now at 3.5. It's at 4 minutes and 54 seconds. And he's going to pretty much get every single soul that's available because now the lane is completely his. What's more is that now that he's only at, let's say, 500 health or 550 health, he's going to get a lot of these neutrals to not only regenerate his health for another 100 to 120 HP, but on top of that, he's now significantly ahead of his opponent. So 4.2, he did die. He's still about 100 souls ahead. He's going to actually catch up much more quickly, and this is all done on pretty much one case of ammo here. So so even when you're on relatively low ammo, just the fact that you pick up Monster Rounds means that you can farm up things much more efficiently, much more quickly, and just achieve a lot more throughout the lane. Beyond the laning stage, these items still prove their assault both in terms of efficiency and economically. As mentioned before, it is much easier to build up 3 items costing 500 souls than it is to build a 1250 item with less value. The second part that I claim is that selling these items back individually is only 100 soul difference, so the trade-off is negligible at best. What's more is that these items take up more inventory slots, the one currency you have a lot of in the early game and can take full advantage of. In terms of efficiency, these items also allow you to farm neutrals much earlier than if you were saving for items like Spirit Lifesteal or Tesla Bullets, which have higher costs and are typically bought towards the end or after the laning stage. So even when you somehow have a bad laning stage, you can immediately abandon your lane and start working down neutral camps, knowing you have sustain from melee lifesteal as well as Monster Rounds to farm those camps quickly. So the flexibility of these items really lends itself to both help you secure your lane or, worst case scenario, help you bounce back from a bad lane and into trying to catch up. So to summarize, all in all, by obtaining these items early, you achieve a domino effect of better lane stabilization, thus better control of the lane and a higher chance of winning your lane. And that can lead you to earlier Guardian destructions and hopefully earlier flex slots, which also means that you commit much less souls buying items to help you save time in getting more souls for your actual core items, and with less time and soul commitment, you get your main items earlier, and because you have more inventory slots, you can hold more of those items. Now, some final caveats. With the buff to restorative shot in the most recent patch, there may be a justification to opt for that item instead, or in addition to, especially if you are playing against melee-centric heroes like Abrams, who kind of dominate the melee area and doesn't really give you a lot of room to play as forward as we mentioned. But also, if you find yourself very confident in your lane, you can lean more towards aggressive items or vice versa. If you feel you can't hold that front-facing position, then opt for more healing-based items like Healing Right. These items do help achieve both sides of the laning itemization meta, but it isn't a substitute for context-based item decision making, which you will grow to learn more of as you play the game. Alrighty, well, I hope this helped you. If you want to see this build in action, check out Yams on Twitch. I'll provide a link in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time.